Alright friends, so I have to admit I may have been wrong. Now of course you guys know my opinion on Vivek Ramaswamy. I like the guy, in fact I think he's the most skilled politician I think I've ever witnessed. But obviously there's that little 1% of doubt at the back of my mind that still surrounds the guy. I mean, he's certainly untested, that's for sure. We've never seen him in a political position of leadership, so it's hard to really come to a judgment. But you guys know that I love Vivek and I'd love to see him as the vice president here. But my thought on the whole issue, or at least my prediction, has been that I don't think it's going to happen. I never thought a Trump-Vivek ticket would be viable for multiple different reasons. I mean, first off, the vice presidential role is more of a role of support. I didn't think Vivek would really be open to taking it. And honestly, my opinion was I thought that Trump would probably try to pick somebody who wouldn't really take too much attention. Somebody who could play a secondary role. I just didn't think that Vivek was that guy. Two alpha dogs on a ticket, I don't think it's ever been seen before. But after today, I mean, look, my interpretation or my prediction might be way off. Donald Trump may be seriously considering Mr. Ramaswamy as his running mate, and a clip that's now going viral all over Twitter, well, let's just say it's the reason behind the speculation. This may be the greatest ticket of all time. Or I guess in other words that I've said many times before on this YouTube channel, it may actually be happening. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright friends, take a look at this piece right here from the Conservative Brief, trending at the top currently. Vice presidential speculation explodes after Trump enters Mar-a-Lago with popular Republican. Former President Donald Trump fueled rumors over the weekend about his Veep stakes after he attended the Mega MAGA Gala at Mar-a-Lago. That's actually so funny that they named it the Mega MAGA Gala. Me and my best friend have been using the term Mega MAGA since like 2016. It's nice to see that the actual Trump administration is now using it, or rather, the Trump campaign. The Trumpettes, a fan club dedicating to supporting Donald Trump, organized the Golden Evening for a Golden President event. The star-studded event featured actor Robert Davi, who improvised a version of Frank Sinatra's My Way, in which he crooned, "Trump did it his way." Georgia GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene tore into communist Democrats who are coming after your money. By the way, can somebody explain to me how you get invited to a Mar-a-Lago event? I guess what I'm asking is, how do I get there? It always sounds like a great time. I guess I'm wondering where my RSVP is, but anyways, during the night, one name stood out, and that's Vivek Ramaswamy, who dropped out of the presidential race and is rumored to be on Trump's VP shortlist. Well, he made an entrance with Trump and First Lady Melania Trump, as well as Vivek's beautiful wife. Take a look at this. I don't know, seems like a little bit of a dry run to me. It seems as though Trump is testing the waters. I mean, that's one thing we know about Donald Trump. He's open-minded, he loves trying new things. He's almost like a stand-up comedian in the way that he does crowd work. He does all of these public events, these massive rallies, where he tests rhetoric, he tests his jokes, he tests his policies, he tests all these little nicknames for people that he comes up with to see what sticks and what doesn't, what makes the crowd engaged and what doesn't. And so maybe Donald Trump is testing the waters here. He knows that Vivek is a force to be reckoned with. There's that Glenn Beck clip from like 3 or 4 weeks ago that we covered. This one.
Last week, Donald Trump called me and he said, any advice on who I should pick for vice president?
Oh, really?
Who do you think? Not that he's probably calling everyone.
But that's great that you're on that list.
And so he said, who do you think? And I said, I don't know how you're going to feel about it, but this is the day, I think it was the day he trashed Vivek. And I said, Vivek. And he said, why do you say that? He said, that's the #1 response from everybody I've asked that question.
He was calling around for consultation and everybody was giving him one name. And that name was Vivek Ramaswamy. Fast forward 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, and the two enter Mar-a-Lago together. A group of 4 of these two political titans with their beautiful wives aside them. That is a brand. That is an image. That's a president with his first lady and a vice president with the second lady combo being tested on the American public. How is it perceived? Obviously, within a MAGA partisan world, well, Mar-a-Lago, it's perceived quite well. But if you look at the noise that it created online, that's what's really convincing. When Donald Trump went out on that stage with Elise Stefanik, I mean, it was cool. We love Elise. You know, she's the conservative tiger mom fighting on behalf of her constituents. A tough gal is willing to say it like it is, but she obviously doesn't have the star power that Vivek does. He started with 0% in the primary, and with no media attention, with no name recognition, and with a very, let's call it, exotic name by American standards, he went from 0% to 8% with less funds, less experience, and less media puff pieces promoting him to the masses. That is a political superstar. Trump actually alluded to this a while ago when they did an event together. And so maybe Trump sees it as a possible, maybe, take these two political titans, put them together, and see where it leads. I don't know. Of course, there's conventional wisdom, which tells you that someone like Vivek will do more to alienate voters than bring voters in, but I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm not sure if we should perceive it that way, because that's the exact opposite of what Vivek did as a Republican candidate. He brought people around him. He had one of the most stellar campaigns. He was appealing to independents, some Democrats or former Democrats, but most importantly, young voters. In other words, he has this unique ability, just like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Donald Trump, and let's give Bernie Sanders some credit as well. All these politicians have one thing in common. They have the ability to bring people to the polls who have never voted before, or who generally don't get involved in politics or elections. These guys bring new voters to the polls. I think Vivek has that same unique ability. And so look, maybe there's a risky sort of growth strategy here. You could repeat 2016 and just go with Mike Pence. The normal looking white dude is going to bring in the evangelicals. You could do that. Or you can bring in a political outsider who has the ability to campaign on your behalf and grow this movement. I don't know. I don't think there's a perfect answer here, but there's certainly something. There's certainly a lot of ideas, I guess, to discuss, especially considering I don't think Donald Trump needs to court evangelicals like he did in 2016. In early polling data during the Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton match, Trump was struggling with evangelicals. They didn't like him. They viewed him as crass. They viewed him as non-Christian or anti-Christian, I guess you could say. Well, Mike Pence obviously helped alleviate those issues, but nowadays, Trump has amazing support from evangelical voters. So maybe you don't need that. Maybe actually what you need is somebody like Vivek who represents a different culture. Not just culture in the sense that he's Indian, and obviously he could appeal to people who come from immigrant backgrounds. Not just that, but a new, more vibrant, youthful culture. A more anti-establishment grassroots culture, which obviously appeals to young voters, and which obviously Vivek represents. It's a riskier play, it's uncharted territory, it's unprecedented, but Trump may be eyeing Vivek as a running mate, and I don't know where I was a little bit hesitant, well, mostly in the sense that I just didn't think it would happen. The more I expose myself to this idea, the more I think about it, I think, I don't know, seems like maybe it would be a pretty good idea. Donald Trump's a sharp guy, I don't think he's dumb, but he isn't necessarily the greatest communicator. Vivek is the greatest communicator. That is what he does. Imagine bringing that power to your campaign. Imagine having Trump, who's a good communicator, who's a sharp guy, and then Vivek, who's just blasting. Imagine those two guys versus this clown.
Best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, from Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa. Of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah.
Imagine a vice presidential debate between Vivek Ramaswamy and Kamala Harris.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
I don't know. Just visually, I think the contrast would be pretty telling. Who knows what could happen? I guess we just gotta wait and see. Right now, it seems as though Donald Trump is seriously considering Vivek Ramaswamy as vice president, or as his running mate, rather. And I guess it's just interesting, to say the least. That's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.